Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Tea Time Tuesday. I hope everyone is having a wonderful Tuesday afternoon. I'm so excited to be with you today, our tea timers. I'm telling you, we're just going to have a great time in our tea time community. Once again, just welcoming everyone to Tea Time Tuesday. We want to go ahead and ask you to go ahead and share this broadcast with your friends, invite your colleagues, your family, because we're going to have a great time today focusing on wellness practices like we always do, especially in this month of National Wellness Month. Want to go ahead and let you know that when you do go over to YouTube, like and subscribe over there. We want to make sure that we get everyone on board to see what we have to offer, even on our YouTube platform. So we want to welcome each and every one of you today. I see Renita is out there. Hello, my sister Renita. Excuse me, got a little tongue tied there today. Hello, Ho. How's everybody doing today? Going to give us some thumbs up and some hearts. I could see it in the chat. So excited to see everyone. I'm telling you, I'm thinking that it's fall, but it's still summer, even though we have a little heat. But I see that the leaves are changing quite early, and it's so picturesque outside. Would you agree? And so I'm so glad that everyone is here. We have a great time that's already prepared for our Tea Time Tuesday. This is the time to stop what you're doing, to pause a little bit here, to reset, and to most importantly, build resilience within us. And so there's so many different ways that we can do that. And so we want to focus on wellness practices today with our renewal practices. And so while you guys are taking your time to gather yourself, I hope that you bought your journal. And so excited because we'll be offering our renewal journal soon, our renewal center journal. But for the time being, I hope that you bought your special journal. I know I have mine with me, a good pen, and got your tea. And so hello, Belinda. Good afternoon. Good to see you too. Welcome again to Tea Time Tuesday. There's Hope, our Director of Digital Renewal and Stewardship, and a Facebook user. Not sure who that is, but good afternoon who out there. So excited. Let's go ahead and talk about National Wellness Month. This is the month of August, and we are closing out the month of August with National Wellness Month. We've been focusing so much and celebrating ways on how to foster support, well-being, and we can do that through gratitude and promoting healthy habits. And we can do that even all the way through the rest of this year. But as we focused in on this month, we did a lot of different things through Tea Time Tuesday that brought awareness to being well, to fostering well-being. So continue to celebrate with us until tomorrow, August 31st, for National Wellness Month. Let's go ahead and move into our book of the week. Our book of the week is Captured by Grace. Captured by Grace. No one is beyond the reach of loving God. And that book is by David Jeremiah. Such a great book. Good afternoon, Monique. It's good to see you. It's a great book. We got it here in our thought room in the Renewal Center. And we're so glad to bring this to you. I want to just give you a little summary about this book. And it says, until you have been broken beyond belief and need a miracle for your soul, until you have been betrayed or betrayed a loved one and cannot bring them back, until you have befriended every darkness and are desperate for light, that's when God's relentless, amazing, very personalized grace finds you. And this book talks about encountering God's grace and changes lives forever. This is a great read, a great book, Captured by Grace. We all need grace. No one is beyond the reach of loving God. And that is by David Jeremiah. So if you ever get an opportunity to drop into the Renewal Center, we'll have this book here in our collection that you can pull aside and read. And if you get an opportunity to get your hands on this book, this is a very good book to read. And let's go on to our tea of the week. Actually, I like this tea. Our tea of the week is honeybush tea. Honeybush tea, also known, it's well known in South Africa. It comes from the Cyclopea shrub. I want to make sure I say that right. Cyclopea, that's right. Cyclopea shrub. The honeybush originated in South Africa. It's grown in the mountainous areas, the eastern and the western mountains in the South African region down there. And it's very similar to Rooibos tea. Now, a while ago, last year sometime, we talked about Rooibos tea, which is another tea from South Africa. This is a plant that's woody. It has a very woody scent. It tastes like honey, actually, and it smells like honey, which why it has the name honey bush tea. And this has a variety of properties. So if you go out there and research and look up honeybush tea, you'll see a lot of properties that this particular tea has. You can serve it hot or like iced tea. Honeybush tea is made from the stems, the leaves, and the flowers of the honeybush. Well, like I always ask, how many out there have ever tasted honeybush tea? I've had it. It's very good. It's very good tea to enjoy. And so while we're waiting for the responses, what is your tea of choice today? What are you drinking? What are you drinking during this relaxing time? Good afternoon, Nicole. It's good to see you. I know I'm having cherry blossom tea. I love cherry blossom tea. So let's get some responses in here today. What are you drinking out there? What's your tea of choice? And while you're getting your responses together, we are going to take a minute to locate ourselves. So let's take a minute, relax, and get into a place of just relaxation because we need to slow down a little bit. We need to locate ourselves. There's a lot going on around us, and we can be truly thankful for just the time for reset. So let's locate ourselves and take a minute and relax here and deep breathe. A few more seconds. Ah, thank you so much for joining me for this time of locating ourselves. So excited to see everyone joining in. Our tea timers, hi Chanel. Good to see you all. It's good to see everyone. I just missed the last person's name. They're not showing up on my other device here. So I want to welcome you also to Tea Time Tuesday. And so let's go ahead and bring in our executive director. We can continue on talking about our tea of choice and what we're drinking and how we're going to move that into our time of wellness. Hello, Patrick.
Hey, Carmela, this is great. I'm so excited that we're closing out and reflecting over Wellness Month. August, our
Yes,
Wellness Month. So this is good.
me
Come on,
too.
folks, let us know what your tea of choice is today. You know, it's interesting because as we are relating to, good to see you, Chanel. Hello, hello. Paul Brown. Hey, Dad, how are you? Good to see you, Dr. Brown. Hello,
Yeah,
hello. Renita's
yeah.
drinking water. Whatever. What else do we have out there today? You know, I wanted to mention just really briefly as we're hydrating, you know, your brain is about 75% water. So research shows that even a tiny percentage of dehydration negatively affects your energy, short-term memory, attention, reaction time. Dehydration even affects your mood. So if this sounds like you, it's probably time for you to properly hydrate your brain. Tea hydrates too because the basis of it is water. So I just wanted to share that, you know, as we are reflecting in our tea time, how our renewal practices will help us in the area of dehydration. Why? Because we're sipping on tea, we're drinking water, we're hydrating ourselves. That impacts our brain, it impacts our mood, it impacts our memory, our attention. All these different things we're experiencing when we're focusing on we're hydrating ourselves. So I just want to remind, so we have some water drinkers today. Renita says she's drinking water. Very good. Dad is drinking water. Nicole says she does lavender gray. That
All
lavender
right.
is very calming, very soothing, very
Mhm.
relaxing. And in the world that we live in, we need that type of stillness anyway. So that is why we're here for the Renewal Center and our renewal practices for tea time. So thanks for jumping on, everyone, today. Please go ahead and share if you don't mind. Share this on your pages. Go ahead and tag others so we can get this tea time going today. Look forward to sharing some renewal practices today. So, Mel, I'll bring you back on here shortly.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We'll see you here shortly in a minute. Hello, everybody. Thank you again. This is Patrick Brown, Executive Director of Renewal Context and Culture here at the Renewal Center. I'm on site here with Carmela. We also have a guest that is here as well that just came in. So I want to welcome him to our space as well. Excited about being able to share some renewal practice with you today. Before we get started, just want to also share with you, we are located 159 Church Street here in Concord, North Carolina in the historic district. And as part of our Tea Time Tuesday, we are focusing also on Giving Tuesdays. And what that means is if you like to join us in this giving season as we give together on Tuesdays to donate to the Renewal Center, to support the Renewal Center, to donate to us, to partner with us as we're offering not only a renewal space of hospitality here at the RC, but also renewal practices. We have grief recovery and grief navigation that's coming up, thought leadership courses, and of course the thought room, the art room and voice room, and the action room, and the space itself, focusing on your wellness, focusing on hospitality, finding a place for you to relax, to unwind. And so just want to remind you, if you'd like to partner with us, please, by all means, this is our Giving Tuesday, and we'll bring up some additional options on way to support the Renewal Center as we are going through our renewal practices today. So again, I want to thank everyone for your partnership as we're moving forward and expanding our serve to the community here, and also what we call Glocal, which is global and local, our digital community. So today, as we wrap up our wellness focus, I want to hone in on two areas specifically about wellness and mindset shifts. Wellness and mindset shifts as we are moving out of the honoring the Wellness Awareness Month. It's important that we look at our mindsets and how our mindsets will contribute to our wellness. Last Tuesday, every fourth Tuesday, and today's the fifth Tuesday, we have tea time at 7 p.m. And last week we spoke about resilience, which I thought was a powerful conversation. And so today we're going to focus on wellness mindsets as well, which ties into resilience. So hopefully you have your journals ready. Go ahead and sip on your tea, drink your lemon water, drink your water, hydrate yourself, because we're closing out an awareness in the area of wellness and the importance of keeping yourself well, taking care of you in every area that you possibly can. So I'm going to bring up some principles here, some renewal practices. Let me know when you're ready with your journal. We'll take our time. We've done our renewal practices of locating ourselves. Now let's dive in. Let me know when you're ready. All right. So let's go into, if you will, wellness mindset shifts. Wellness mindset shifts. Now, in this area of wellness mindset shifts, I want to first of all ask you a question concerning mindset. How do you define a mindset? When you think about mindset, let us know. Go ahead in the chat. Put it in the chat with us. How is mindset connected to your wellness? Anybody, please feel free to share that. How is your mindset connected to your wellness? I'd like to hear from you, because in order for you to be able to function in wellness, you have to take a look at what's in your mind and what your mind is on, whether it's your thoughts, whether it's your feelings, whether it's stories, whether it's narratives. So go ahead and type that in the comments, if you will. How is wellness, your mindset connected to wellness, or how does it impact wellness? And let's have a discussion surrounding that today. As we close out the wellness month, we've talked about hydration, we've talked about resilience, we've talked about different practices that we can take care of ourselves, from walking to breathing exercises, to recreation, to play, to vacationing, to setting time off just for you, to nourishing your heart and your mind and your thinking. And so we want to specifically target some mindsets perhaps that we need to shift in order for us to make sure that we're fostering wellness. So the question today, as we start out our renewal practices, is how is your mindset connected to your wellness? How is your mindset connected to your wellness? And I'm going to pause here for a moment and give you an opportunity to answer that question, because we want to hear from you again. All right, Chiquita shares with us. Let's hear it. I love to think myself healthy and positive. I think, I feel, and I do. Thank you, Chiquita, for sharing that. Thinking myself healthy and positive. Absolutely. With all the viral videos going on, negative postings that just draw us back, mindset is important to wellness. Anybody else? How is your mindset connected to your wellness? And again, this is personal, but it's also community. And so ways we can do that is by identifying and looking at our own mindsets. That's what Tea Time is about, adopting these types of renewal practices. Anybody else? Okay, Tina shares with us, where the mind goes, the body follows. Where the mind goes, the body follows. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, Tina. These are, again, folks, mindsets that impact wellness. Anybody else, please share with us. How does your mindset influence or impact your wellness? And really think through this, because we're journaling as well. Hope Matters says, what's inside comes out in action and behavior. What's inside comes out in action and behavior. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Okay, these are some great mindset answers. Let's keep hearing from you, audience. Share with me, anybody. Okay, your mindset and how does that impact your wellness? Because that's really what this is about. And I want us to think about this. Well, we're closing out Wellness Month. Yeah. Let's really think about our mindset. Wow. Okay, let's jump into some of the renewal practices that I have for us today. All right. Number one, you can't be whole if you're striving for perfection. That is one mindset shift that we need to experience if we're going to move in wellness. If you think you're already perfect, then there's no place for you to go. If you already think, I'm already there and everything has to be exactly right, I really can't be whole if I'm striving for perfection. Let's sit with that as a mindset shift into wellness. I begin to think about, as he thinks in his heart, so is he. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that proverb with us, Renita. So what are your thoughts on this as a mindset shift into wellness? I begin to think about wellness in terms of our physical wellness, social, spiritual, financial. Wellness encompasses how we eat, our nutrition, the totality of our being. And you can't be whole if you're striving for perfection. Perfectionism, constantly thinking things have to be perfect. That's a hindrance to well-being and wellness, because it keeps you into a realm of self-criticism. It keeps you in self-critique. It keeps you in constant evaluation and constant assessment. And so we can get stuck many times in what some call the paralysis of analysis. We break it down so much that we stay where we are and we don't grow and expand. So you can't be whole if you're striving for perfection. Number two, we can miss something and move on. You can miss something and move on. Carmela shares with us, perfectionism locks us into continual striving. Yes, it does. It locks us into continual striving. Now, I want to get your thoughts on this. You can't be whole if you're striving for perfection. We can miss something and move on. Sometimes people think that when things are challenging in our lives, that we're not able to really grow and move on because something is missing. We experience rejection. Somebody left us. We have a sense of abandonment. That impacts our wellness. And many times we lock into narratives and stories that we can't move on because we're missing something. Well, we can miss something and still move forward. You can continue to make progress even when it feels like you're missing something or someone. So it's important that we think about that as we're walking through different journeys and experiences in our lives. Chanel shares with us today, the way I think can either improve or decrease my wellness. Wow. You can improve it or it can decrease our wellness based upon the way that I think. Thank you, Chanel, for sharing that with us. These are important things that we're all, and again, in resilience and in community as renewal practices, is that we have to think about our mindsets. And that's why we say things like locate yourself exercise. That's why we take a time to pause, because in the middle of our day, as we begin our week, even though we began it yesterday, we have to take some time. It's encouraging to take some time to look at our mindsets and consider how our mindset impacts our wellness. Just like the water we talked about earlier in dehydration, you go a whole day and you just drink a bunch of everything else except for water, and then your mood is impacted because your brain is 75% water. Well, isn't it important for us to be aware of what's going on in our hydration? It's the same way that it's important that we are aware of what's happening in our mindset and how that impacts us. Okay? Again, both and thinking allows me to hold contrasting concepts at the same time. Thank you for sharing that. Hope matters. So, yes, it is important. Instead of doing either or thinking, we do both and thinking instead of either or. All right, black and white, and we're not able to navigate the gray. All right, so let's keep moving forward here. I want to bring up a few more mindset shifts today that we're focusing on. So you can't be whole if you're striving for perfection. We can miss something and move on. Here's another one, number 3. Holding on mainly hurts ourselves. There is power in releasing. Holding on mainly hurts ourselves. There is power in releasing. So let's ask ourselves, what am I holding on to that's really harming me? What am I holding on that's still impacting me? There is power in releasing. I think we need to all type that one out over and over again. There's power in releasing. You are empowered when you release it, when instead of holding on to it, because what that does, my resentment, something that happened to me, I kept it in, I held on to it, and as a result of me doing that, holding on to that mainly hurts me. And so I get my power back by releasing. I get my power back by releasing. So I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Again, we're talking about wellness mindsets today and the importance of mindset shifts so that we can impact and influence our wellness. And I started out with a question relating to that. So I'm just bringing up a couple of principles. I think that it's important that we do that. Let it be known and then gone. My motto, power of release. Yes, Tina, thank you for sharing that. Facebook user, that is Monique. So I think that's Monique, she said earlier. So I'm empowered when I release. Let it go. Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. Renita says, holding on can feel like you're in bondage. Release and be free. I need to hydrate between these comments. So again, mindset shifts. There's a lot of powerful, resilient words that are being shared with this community. And I want to thank everyone for sharing your comments today. This is so empowering for all of us because we're now making choices. Holding on can hurt ourselves. All right. LaDante says here, forgiveness is key. Forgiveness is key. Tante is right here. Thank you for the comment there. All right. Appreciate you. All right. So again, forgiveness is key. We must be free to release. So that's important that we do that. All right. Let's meditate on some things here and consider the last point I want to make on this particular slide. Then I have something else to share with us. Closure is something we choose, not something we get. Closure is something we choose, not something we get. I want us to think about closure from a choice perspective today. And again, we're talking about mindset shifts. Because sometimes we say things like, well, I got to get closure. Well, that's something that we choose. We are making choices to be able to move forward. And I before we go into another renewal practice, I want us to think about this. Chanel says, holding on is self-torture. Let go and be free. I want everyone, seemed like that particular one resonated with a lot of us today. So I want you to consider, what are you holding on to or what you have been holding on to that you need to release today? I'm thinking about that right now. Hopefully you're thinking about that as well. And again, everything in life is a process. Seeds don't grow overnight. All right. They don't immediately sprout. Sometimes it takes time, the turning over of the soil, the watering, the sun. It's underground, it's in darkness, and eventually it'll sprout. So we have to consider that when we're thinking about a mindset shift, that's also a process as well. So let's consider that mindset shift today. Closure is something we choose, not something we get. All right, folks. I just want us to think about it and really, really allow ourselves, as we're considering this last day of our month of wellness awareness, national wellness, and also we use this for renewal practice, is consider holding on and how it hurts us, but also choosing closure. And I want to bring up a slide here that'll really help amplify what that is. All right, so I want you to read through this and really think through this with me. Closure is something we choose, not something we get. So 3 areas that'll help us with the closure area. And I want us to really consider that. Tina shares with us, yes, we believe we deserve and need answers, then we can close. That's bondage, power of release, power of choice. Thank you, Tina, for sharing that. So I'd like you to consider 3 areas about closure as something we choose. Number 1, disclosure. 2, exposure. And 3, closure. So I want you to write these 3 things down, and then let's work this as a renewal practice today. Let's do kind of workshop it if we can, and think about disclosure. Now, disclosure really is an action. Exposure is the condition, and closure is what happens when we do the 2. So disclosure is the action of making new hidden information. So when I'm in disclosure, I'm making something known, or it's new, it's been hidden information. Now I'm making that known. That's a disclosure. I haven't shared it before. I perhaps held it in. And so we hold it in. And so as a result of that, the more that we hold it in, what happens? Tell me, folks, what happens? The more that we just keep it in. So disclosure is the action of making new or hidden information known. I'm bringing it forward. So to move into closure, there has to be disclosure and then exposure. Disclosure is the action. Exposure is the condition. Tina says bitterness. Yes, we begin to just marinate in the bitterness, just swim all in it. And it begins to overcome us. It comes out in everything that we say, everything that we do. And this is also with everything in life. All right, let's make sure if we're going to move into closure as a mindset shift, that we make it known. And so we move into places of disclosure and exposure, which is just bringing it forward. There are things in my life that when I held those things in, even areas that I may have struggled in, disclosure is freedom. Disclosure is freedom, because what it does is now I've brought it to the forefront, and now exposure says I'm in the condition of laying things open. It's out in the open. There it is. That way, if there's any shame or any guilt, it shows you where you are. All those things are freeing because you're no longer hiding these things behind in your life. So again, I want to bring this up and really, really think this through as a mindset shift. All right. Be transformed. Transformational moment says unwanted stress. All right. When there is no disclosure, it's unwanted stress. We also heard bitterness there. So again, folks, think about disclosure as an action and exposure as a condition. The condition that I'm in right now, after I've done disclosure, now I can say I'm in exposure. It's out there. I can now live in freedom because I've aired it out. I remember falling off my bike, and Mom used to say to me, just let the air get to it. Wash off the wound and let the air get to it. And I guess because of the air and the oxygen and all that, it would heal. All right. Of course, she would clean it up for me. She was an LPN, so she had a background in nursing, so she knew how to take care of it. But there was also this space where there were times that you got to let things air out in order for it to be cleansed. All right. And that's also in our mindsets, our mentalities, our perspectives, our beliefs, our values, our stories, our narratives. Can I keep going? There's all those things that happen when we're dealing with mindset shifts and disclosure, exposure, and then closure. Closure is defined as the letting go of what was and creating new possibilities. If there's not disclosure, exposure, can we really move into closure? And closure saying, I'm releasing that, I'm letting it go of what was, and creating new possibilities. New possibilities. Closure, creating new possibilities. Can we all say today that as we're making mindset shifts, that today is a day of creating new possibilities because we've disclosed things and exposed things and now we're closing them? I think that we can make that our mantra for the week. That might be nice as a renewal practice. What are your thoughts on this, folks? Let me know what you're thinking. It's kind of silent out there in digital space. So I want to hear from your thoughts on this as you're sipping your tea. We'd love to hear from your thoughts on disclosure, exposure, closure as something that we choose, not necessarily something that we get. Let me hear from you here. So I got to bring a guest on because I think that this is one of them conversations we got to have. Be sure that when you disclose in pursuit of closure, do it just for you and you alone, and not to receive reaction, approval, or acceptance from someone else. Renita, you are spot on. Thank you for that wisdom. Everybody write that down. I'm going to leave that up there. I'm going to leave that up there right there. And just let's sit with Renita's comment as well. That's a nugget. Be sure that when you disclose in pursuit of closure, you do it just for you you alone, not to receive reaction, approval, and acceptance from someone else. Very important that we do that. With closure, Dr. Brown, I can begin again. Yes, you can begin again with closure. So I wanted us to really think these through as mindset shifts. How does this relate to wellness? Because many times we're not well because we're holding things in and because our mindsets have not shifted. Now, this might be in relationship not to just other people. This is just things we need to close out in our own lives personally. Things that I need to resolve, that I need to work on, that may have absolutely nothing to do with anyone else. I'm doing it because I know I need to grow, and I want to grow, and I desire to grow, and I desire renewing. I desire to begin again. I desire to create new possibilities. And so we can do that with a mindset shift. And so we shared a few of those principles today that I want to make sure that as a renewal practice, we really consider and reconsider as well. All right, just before we move forward with our next slide and our other half of tea time today, I want to invite you again to supporting the Renewal Center. I want you to consider in our Giving Tuesday, there are several ways you can support the Renewal Center. We are a nonprofit organization. We have a location, 159 Church Street, here in the historic district of Concord. You can give through the renewalcenters.com/give. So feel free to type in www.therenewalcenters.com/give. You can also use your phone. Just go ahead and text Renewal Center to the number there, 888-364-4483. And that way you can give through our secure giving and also download the app as well. We have PayPal, the Renewal Center 2020 at Gmail for those that want to support and desire to support through PayPal. And we also have CashApp. So Cash Renewal Center. And then you can mail your check or money order to P.O. Box 1381, Concord, North Carolina, 28026. And so that helps us support what we're doing here in our space as we're focusing on Giving Tuesday. So we have a Giving Tuesday. And so we'd ask you to join us on Tuesday specifically as we're engaging in our tea time community. All right. Let's hear some more thoughts are coming in. Ice Lady Butler says closure can destroy, even self-close and start again. So in other words, we start again. We start again when we move into that. Thank you for sharing that. That is some amazing insights that we're receiving today. All right, so let's pause for a moment, and I want to shift into the latter half of our renewal practices for today. But before we do that, I'd like to hear from anyone. What are some applications and some takeaways with what you're receiving today? I hope that these renewal practices and this content that we share in Tea Time is beneficial as you take a break during your Tuesdays at 12. All right. Let me know when you're ready. Let's move on to the next one. All right. We can only heal what we feel. So if we don't acknowledge what we're feeling, can we really heal? Well, I don't feel anything. I'm not emotional. Yes, you are. Everybody's emotional. Everybody's rational. Everybody's logical. Everybody's intellectual because we have a mind. We have emotions. We have desires. We can only heal what we feel. And if we deny what we're feeling, then we're not going to move into healing. That's a wellness mindset shift to experience. And that's a good space. Next shift is taking care of ourselves, of others starts by taking care of ourselves. Wow. That's a huge one. Taking care of others starts by taking care of ourselves. Can I ask you this question? How are you taking care of yourself? Socially, physically, mentally, emotionally, nutrition, wellness. That's right, Dad. You always share that with us, and I want to thank you for that, especially in your presentation on caregiving. TCOY, take care of yourself. If you're depleted, you can't give to anybody else. If you're depleted, how can you give to someone else? How can you really show up if you're depleted? Okay? So it's important that we focus on making sure we take care of ourselves, and we taking care of others starts by taking care of ourselves. If we don't take care of ourselves, we're not going to be able to take care of others. So it's important that we concentrate on what we need to do. Okay. And it's important. We know that we got to make sure we implement this as part of who we are. Absolutely. Self-care is not selfish. Absolutely. You're aware of what you need to do to take care of you. Thank you, LaDante. Carmela says, you cannot pour out of an empty vessel. Absolutely. So again, folks, these are ways we need to consider as a mindset shift. What do you need to do to shift a little bit? Are you tending to everybody else and then you only have 5 minutes left for you throughout your day? Your job consumes you. I'm just so busy. Dinner, shopping, bills. Everything else gets the attention except for your own personal health, your own personal wellness. This person can interrupt you at any time. People can walk in and just interrupt you. They can interrupt your meetings, interrupt your schedule, your so-called multitasking that we say we do. Taking care of yourself starts by, or others starts by taking care of ourselves. All right. I mean, all these things that we do that pull on us, and we let them pull. We got to have a mindset shift. This is, let's really think about that. Okay. All right, let's go back to it. I don't want to stay on that one, but it's important. Taking care of others starts by taking care of ourselves. And I will ask you the question again. How are you, TCOY, taking care of yourself? Number 3, joy is also a practice. It's a practice to have a joy. It's a practice. You are always positive. It's a practice. Doesn't mean that I'm overly optimistic in the sense that I'm not looking at realities. What I'm saying is that it's a practice of a life, that I'm choosing a practice of joy. Joy in the things that I do, joy in my engagement, joy in how I encourage people, joy in joy even in my recreation, joy in when I'm eating dinner. Instead of just rushing through your meal, enjoy the meal. I'm just scuffling down my food. Joy is also a practice. This is a mindset shift. You don't have to wait until your Sunday service to say, I got joy. You can practice joy every day. This has gotten a little cold. I'll heat this up in a minute. So, joy is also a practice. Joy is also a practice. questions on that. As what are your thoughts on that? As far as a mindset shift, as far as practicing joy, that's an interesting dialogue. That's a little different because I think that we sometimes think that joy is just being constantly optimistic. There's so much more into that subject. I know we can't dive into that today, but I really want us to consider that as a wellness mindset shift, especially in a day and age. How many of you have received in August some type of video viral that was negative? Just think about that. Somebody sent something to your phone. It was a posting from social media, and they try to drag you into something that tries to get your mindset off of. And I'm not saying we don't live, but there's enough information out there that we don't need all that swimming in your mind. Joy is also a practice. And don't you know that when you have joy, it's a practice? When you go into your next team meeting, your staff meeting, your virtual sessions, and you dread certain redundancies, your attitude and your mindset changes because joy has become a practice in your life. And you start out your day with a practice of joy. So I want you to consider that as a mindset shift. What are things in your life that bring you joy that you can implement as a practice in your life? Tea time brings me joy. It brings me joy. I'm able to engage in a community of resilience. That is joyous for me. Some people say, I don't need all of that. Well, that's everybody's choices, right? Think about it. What brings you joy? And joy as a practice. Thank you for sharing this, Renita. You said it's a valid point. We have to filter what we allow into our mental space. Yes, we do. We have to filter that because those things can come in consistently, especially in a day and age where everything is right at our fingertips. You know, another good practice is when you go out to eat the next time, everybody put their cell phones at the middle of the table. And for the whole entire time you're out to eat, nobody checks their phone. Now, I know some of y'all, that's probably hard to do. Think about that. We're going to, next time I go out to eat with any of y'all, we're going to just put all our cell phones and say, you know what, for the next hour, we're just going to engage each other face to face. Because that's a practice of joy, being able to sit across from someone, because them being present is so important, and you being present is so important that's a mindset shift instead of letting our devices rule us. All right, let's go to the next few points and then we'll close this out. You mean to tell me we can't take a picture of our food? Nope, no taking pictures of food. At least one time. Is that fair? I like to take pictures of my food too. But I think what I'm encouraging you to do is a mindset shift of being able to engage each other for some time, especially when you're at home. And you're at home and we've got things that are pulling at our time. Good question though, Anita. Monique says, I look for something positive in every area of my life. Turn the negative into a positive. Yes, joy is also a practice of positivity. Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone. Let's go to the last point I wanted to share today. We always have a choice. We always have a choice. And I want to end on this as a mindset shift in the wellness area. We always have a choice. So I'm going to recap just real briefly so that we can kind of think through everything that we've shared today. And I want you to consider this as part of our, as we close out the wellness piece. And I want to bring these back up one more time just for us to recap. You can't be whole if you're striving for perfection. For the perfectionists out there in the world, you can't be whole if you're striving for perfection. 2, we can miss something and move on. Sometimes there are areas where things are no longer there in our lives. We've experienced rejection. People don't talk to us. They don't engage anymore. You can still miss something and still make progress and still move forward. Holding on mainly hurts ourselves. There is power in releasing. So think about what you're holding on to that we now need to release. And in your journal right now, go ahead and write that down. Think about it when you settle yourself later today. Closure is something we choose, not something we get. Closure is something we choose, not something we get. And we relate that to the reality of these 3 areas. If it's something that we choose, not something we get, then the action of making new or hidden information, I'm going to disclose it. That's my action. I'm bringing it forward. There's exposure. Here's where I am. And now I'm letting go of what was and creating new possibilities for my life. Yes, as a wellness mindset shift. And of course, lastly, bring up the last slide. For you. We can only heal what we feel. You feel it, you can heal it. Taking care of others starts by taking care of ourselves. Joy is also a practice, and we always have a choice. We always have a choice. All right, folks. Well, that ends our renewal practices for today. I'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts? What are some of your takeaways today? What jumps out to you? What mindset shifts perhaps are you taking? I want to hear from you. Let's share some of those reactions and responses to our renewal practices for today. Love to hear from you as we consider about how it is that we are engaging in wellness and the mindset shifts that take place. So what are some of your takeaways? So what are some of your applications? What will you do differently? Any of these principles that we shared, practices we shared today, how does that resonate with where you are? Or perhaps consider what mindset shifts are you working through and working on as you continue to grow and expand and monitor your wellness, because that is important. And again, wellness is spiritual, wellness is mental, emotional, psychological, wellness is physical. There are different aspects of wellness. And so we want to make sure that we are focusing on that. And that's one clear thing that we make sure that here at the Renewal Center, it's part of one of our value statements is renewing minds and also restoring lives. And so those two areas help us in the area of wellness. So what are some of your takeaways? Love to hear from you. As we move forward, I want to share a few last things with us again today. We have what we call Reforming Culture series. I want to share this with you. Part of one of our areas of vision, we want to make sure that we're continually reforming culture. So we have a class called Reforming Culture series, and that is actually a course called Spiritual Maturity from Ephesians. And so we're going to be starting next Wednesday from September to May. And that's every Wednesday, first, second, and third Wednesdays only. And that's at 7:30. So you can register through that through downloading our mobile app, or you can go to all of our media pages and you can click on the link when you see this particular flyer. So I just want to remind you of that opportunity starting next Wednesday. A wonderful series, and I've been enjoying that as well. A few things I want to share. One more thing that I think is important that you're noting is one of our team members, Hope T. Melton. She's one of our directors on our team, has a gathering coming up called Dig Deep Prophetic Encounter 2022 for her ministry, Hope Diamond's Ministries, The Authentic Shine. It's going to be here on location at the Renewal Center. I want to share this with you. It starts September 30th and October 1st. The emphasis here is about inner development and internal design. This will be incredible. I've been invited as one of the speakers, so I'm grateful to be able to be a part of that. And of course, that's going to be a weekend. So you can click there, scan the Eventbrite, or actually follow Hope Diamond's Ministries page, as well as follow Hope T. Melton on Facebook. Or you could actually go to the Eventbrite that you see there and register for that particular encounter. So I wanted to bring that up as well. All right. What are your takeaways, folks? I don't see too much coming on unless you're still over there thinking and meditating and reflecting on today's renewal practices. Love to hear from you. And again, I want to thank everyone for this practice today. This has been a great tea time. I'm going to bring Carmela Head back on, and we'll close this out. This has been enjoyable. Carmela, let's bring it back on. What are your thoughts?
Oh, wow. I've got a plethora of notes here today in my journal, but there's such a freedom and liberty in this renewal practice today. It really is on Wellness Mind Shift. Definitely, resetting our perception, not, our perception of what we see, and as it pertains to changing our minds. I really like the part that you said we must take care of ourselves, and because it's the foundation and the premise of well-being. And these are some powerful these 8 principles today. They were powerful. This is something I wrote in my journal. I just want to share this because it just jumped out.
Yes,
It
please.
says the need the pull and the need for our attention will be there, but it's these principles that will help us to be proactive in the outcome. And so, I mean, the pull, the need for us to do things, it's going to always be there, overload. But these are some powerful principles that we can take right now. We can use
Yes.
it right now.
Yes. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. We got a couple of more responses that are coming in. LaDante says here, being intentional and practicing joy in everyday experiences. For example, riding in the car in silence, no tech at dinner table, etc. Thank you for
Yeah.
that's a good takeaway. Anybody else? What are some
Yeah.
of your takeaways from today's renewal practices? And again, we're here every single Tuesday, first, second, and third at 12 p.m. And then the fourth Tuesday at 7 p.m. We've got some exciting renewal practices for the month of September. I am excited. I can't wait. This is going to be good. Camille, aren't you next week? You next week?
I am. Next Tuesday.
All right. So y'all folks come back for Carmela next week, and then Hope Melton the week after that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to it. This is exciting because this is what community is about. This is about resilience. It's important. We got some more practices coming in. Let's see here. More takeaways. Can only heal what we feel. Don't be afraid to explore your feelings. Thank you for sharing that.
That's good.
Being consistent to take care of yourself. Walking and hydrating.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that, Ad. Appreciate it. Anybody else? Share some more. Renita says here, this was very helpful. I love the statement, joy is also a practice. Mm-hmm. Joy is active, healthy, powerful. It's worth pursuing for our well-being. Absolutely. Yes. Mm-hmm. Let's see a few more coming in. I want to give everybody an opportunity to share their thoughts and applications. And again, I just want to remind every single one of you that we're here every Tuesday, first, second, and third Tuesdays at 12 p.m. Also on fourth Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Please feel free to come by and visit us here, 159 Church Street, here in the historic district of Concord, North Carolina. Also, again, if you'd like to donate and support the Renewal Center, these are the various ways of giving for our Giving Tuesday. And so again, I want to give you an opportunity through our website, text to give, our PayPal, Cash App, and mail as well. So just want to give you that opportunity to, again, align and support our mission and our vision. I hope Tea Time is worth your investment. Hopefully this has been something that's been impactful in your life. We've been doing this since February of 2020, when you first started doing the Tea Times as one of the offerings and programming that we do here at the Renewal Center. And so we want to continue to grow the community and expand it. We're looking forward to the Tea Time Journal coming up here soon. We will have that.
Yes.
So that's going to be great. I'm looking forward to having my own, because I got so many notes and so many different ideas, and I'm learning from you, those of you that are out there in our Tea Timers, Tea Time community. You're sharing a lot of these quotes and comments. I go back sometimes to read them, and it's like, wow, that was a powerful response. So thanks everyone for being on, for your partnership, for being part of Tea Time today. And as we always say here at the Renewal Center, 2 things we're focusing on: take care of each other, and I am renewal. Thanks so much for coming on, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Have a very good day, and thanks again.